insights and teasing for future episodes. Closing, conclude.
I don't want to mess anything up.
For tuning in. Include any calls to action such as subscribing, leaving a review, or visiting your website. 9 credits, if applicable. Acknowledge any guest sponsors, contributors, post-production, edit.
So the questions I'm going to say, hey, for those of you that have questions for Stephon, don't block the lens though.
I'm not.
He's good.
Yeah, you can go long form for the shorts or for the
live.
Yeah.
Alright. That's good.
Yeah. Stephon, scooch in just a little bit for his video. Okay.
Alright.
Should be okay.
Come in a little. There you go. Still have to get tight at the end of the day.
You can use, yeah, no, we should be good. Do you have anything else to prop it up?
The other box, but I don't know.
It's fine. It's still live anyway, you know? It's not
Yeah.
on the recording.
Yeah, it feels.
But
How does space wise, we looking good?
Yeah. I mean, you're tight, but you guys are both in frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, for the, I'll tell people like, share, comment, subscribe for the questions. And say, if you have questions for Stephon, be sure to leave a comment. All right. If you have any questions, if you want to discuss maybe some things that you have, you know.
If you're looking to get into sales,
I'll hit you with it. I got the
Yeah.
questions. See, I highlighted it. Scout Business segment is the intro, what to expect. Let me get a little sip of the tea. And then do you want a water that you can sip on in front? Yeah, we can keep it out of the frame, but at least you can have something to reach for.
the tea, the double cup, what you got in there?
No, this is just tea.
Oh, okay.
I went to the donut shop to get ice.
Yeah.
It's like black tea. You know, I'm thick, man. I gotta, Cali be on me. Boy, you need to get on them apples.
Oh, he didn't try to put you on watermelon?
He told me to get on them apples. You don't need that fiber, you know?
Yeah.
I think with these mics, you know how the bass be sounding? Like, I be sounding like,
Real.
yeah. No, we sound like our voice. Callie, I was telling Keith that. Doesn't his voice project?
Yeah.
Like when he's talking, he's all like, hey man, what you got going on? Yeah, let me make sure you're real. He just naturally talks like that.
He a pro at it, man. When
Hey,
the cameras come on.
he's good on.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, cats think he's yellow. He's not.
No.
We'll get into that. Like, yeah.
Well,
Our cats think he's like rough, but he doesn't. He's two people. He's one way when he's in front of the camera, and he's another way in a real person.
yeah, that's what I'm noticing about a lot of the social media stuff.
Yeah.
It's not always, you know, the personality is not the person.
Yeah.
You know, you heard Charleston White.
Yeah, they said the same thing. He's
Yeah,
not.
I haven't met him, but from what I hear, you meet him in person, he's smart.
No storage.
No.
Yeah, no.
Still.
Still with the yeah, no.
It's crazy.
I can shoot from on personal, but you know, it got storage.
That's
So
the-
it's the 14.
We have a 15, and I have no storage. We used that to film
But
last week, too.
I pay $10.
Well, there's a trick to
For
do-
iClub, I do too. But it doesn't matter. It's the
What
disc.
What time is it?
It's the who?
It's the disc on the phone. So when you like buy it, you have to ask for like the biggest amount of space, which they charge more for the phone.
No, but this,
Wow, I didn't know that.
Do you
Yeah.
have?
I thought I could just pay monthly and be
Yeah.
good.
What time is it?
It is 4:38.
So we still got some time. Look at the.
I couldn't do the 14, bro. It shoots pretty high. It shoots.
You
good
got
quality.
Black Magic.
Yeah, and I got Black Magic. Yeah, let's just run it.
So there's a
That's
trick.
crazy.
Hyphy Whitey has a reel on to shoot from your asset from your basically your hard drive. So the 15, if you look at his when we're done, I'll text you. I'll text you that short.
Shoot, like it goes, the store goes straight into your hard drive.
Pull up the thing I sent you.
Where did you send it?
I sent it to
Instagram?
Keith. Because
So
it should.
you never have to worry with that technique. You never have to worry about storage on your
No.
phone.
Really?
You can buy. They're like $100. You can buy a couple of them,
Okay.
but then it literally look. This is their. Come on. This is it right here. Look. He just plucked.
bad compared to. This is how so we just iPhone. You want to shoot the highest quality footage on your iPhone 15 Pro Max? Let me show you how to do it. First, you're gonna need an SSD drive, and you're gonna need to attach it to your iPhone using a USB-C cable. Now, when you're actually in the iPhone camera app, you're gonna need to turn on ProRes log and turn it to 4K 60. Now, you're only gonna be able to do that if you have an SSD drive attached to it. Then you want to make sure you have some kind of filter on it. I got a Polar Pro filter. This is a
You don't need the
filter.
Filter's bullshit.
I'm in ProRes.
So I'm gonna go back.
You want to shoot the highest quality footage on your iPhone 15 Pro Max? Let me show you how to do it. First, you're gonna need an SSD drive, and you're gonna need to attach it to your iPhone using a USB-C cable. Now, when you're actually in the iPhone camera app, you're gonna need to turn on ProRes log and turn it to 4K 60. Now, you're only going to be able to do that if you have an SSD drive attached to it. Then you want to make sure you have some kind of filter on it. I got a Polar Pro filter. This is a variable ND filter. It's a Mist 2 filter by Peter McKinnon. Polar Pro, as I said, I have a grip here with a Bluetooth shutter to help me when I'm shooting. Now, let me show you how to turn on the ProRes. You go to Settings, you go to Camera, Formats, and then you scroll down to Apple ProRes. Make sure it's turned on, and then your ProRes encoding needs to be on log. You want to shoot the highest quality
I think he did
footage
all
on
that. I
your
just
iPhone
need the
15
disc.
Pro Max.
When we first went out and seen
you're
them,
gonna
he
need
set up my
SSD
phone
drive. You're gonna need to
with the
Let's
settings.
watch it one more
to
time.
your iPhone using a USB-C cable. Now, when you're actually in the iPhone camera app, you're gonna need to turn on ProRes log and turn it to 4K 60. Now, you're only gonna be able to do that if you have an SSD drive attached.
Do you
to
have
it.
an extra
Then you want to make
USB-C
sure you
cable?
have some kind of filter on it. I got a
You
Polar
need a
Pro
charge?
filter. This is
No, I
a
need to try to
variable
see
ND filter.
if this will
It's a
connect, because
Mist
with this
2
one
filter
it's
by
not
Peter McKinnon. Polar Pro,
picking
as I
up.
said, I have a grip here with a Bluetooth shutter to help me when I'm shooting. Now, let me show you how
Here's
to
the last part.
Settings.
You go to
camera
settings.
formats.
You go to settings, you go to camera formats. This is what I wanted to get here. We got a
Early.
good hour though. We good?
Like this?
Yeah, let's see. Thank you.
At home with the baby.
We good?
Let's see. Then you go to what else?
So look, it says
Filter. This is a variable ND filter. It's a Mist 2 filter by Peter McKinnon. Polar Pro, as I said, I have a grip here with a Bluetooth shutter to help me when I'm shooting. Now, let me show you how to turn on the ProRes. You go to Settings, you go to Camera, Formats, and then you scroll down to Apple ProRes. Make sure it's turned on, and then your ProRes encoding needs to be on log. You want to shoot the highest quality footage on your. Now, let me show you how to turn on the ProRes. You go to Settings, you go to Camera, Formats, and then you scroll down to Apple ProRes. Make sure it's turned on, and then your ProRes encoding needs to be on log. You want to shoot the highest quality footage. Let me show you how to turn on the ProRes. You go to Settings, you go to Camera, Formats, and then you scroll down to Apple ProRes. Make sure it's turned on, and then your ProRes encoding needs to be on log. Shoot the highest quality footage on your iPhone 15.
Sorry, it's already on log.
yeah. Still no?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Told you.
We're good. That's crazy.
They be giving up the game, but people don't listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
They do. That's
Well,
that's a hack.
For people who you have experience in it, so it resonates. But that goes over a lot of people say like they're just getting
He's
started.
talking gibberish.
When he started talking, I saw that video and I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, I just didn't even care about
Yeah.
it.
No, it made me tune in. It made me tune in so much so that I got that hard drive
The
because I
exposure.
know that the phone.
But since I put, is it gonna come out like this? Now the exposure look horrible, bro.
Let me see.
Since I put the external, you see what I'm saying? I'm trying to play with the exposure, but now it look like
So 4K,
I did that already.
and then are you in 60 frames?
Yeah, I did that too. You see what I'm saying? Why is it coming out like that now? I did the lighting. See what I'm saying? It looks like,
Does it look? Does it look
look like
faded?
Yeah, it looks faded, bro.
We can always color
What,
grade it.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Or we could
As
shoot-
long as it's clear
What about
though.
black?
No. You want this for
All
the
right.
storage.
Are we good? You
As
good?
far as the clarity though, it's good, right? See how my hand looks clear.
Yeah, but it's the contrast of it.
I think we can fix that.
All right.
As long as it's recording.
Okay.
Just like audio, I'm not really too tripping off of that.
All right. We don't got no live viewers yet. I don't
That's
know if
okay.
that's a good thing or a bad thing.
That's all right.
All right. I'm about to start.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Frame good?
Frame good. External drive good.
Okay. All right, this is the Scout Business segment. I'm here with my man Stephon Seals. He seals the deal. He had an interview with Callie not too long ago. He's getting into the content. But, man, I appreciate you for having me, and let's get right into it, man. I wanted to ask you, how did you start in business? Like, what led you to getting into business for yourself and wanting to create content? Like, where did it all start?
So, I mean, from the time I can remember being young, I've always had the desire to make money. You know, my parents, middle class, we didn't have a lot, but we weren't like going without food. So when it was time to get school clothes and stuff, Pops would just give me like $200, and my Jordans were like 120.
Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in the IE, in the Riverside area.
Okay.
Corona.
I know that area. I'm from
Yeah.
San Bernardino.
Okay. Yeah, my parents moved out there when it was newly developed, like in the early 90s. And then, you know, went to school, junior high school and stuff out there. So, yeah, it started, I mean, since young, I've always been super ambitious. My first business I started, I say, is selling candy in school.
What's funny is a lot of entrepreneurs, that's how they start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember I was talking to my mom about it the other day. I would see the ice cream man, and he would pull up outside of the school, and all the kids would go and spend their money over there. So I saved up. At that time, lunch was $1 a day. So my dad would give me $1 every day for lunch. So for 30 days, I didn't eat lunch, and I saved up $30 and had my mom take me to Costco, and then bought a few bags of candy, flipped that, and then became the candy man at school.
That was the entry point. When you saw how business worked.
Yeah. So at that young age, I was hooked. For me, when I made my first $100, that was like big to me. $100. I used to think at that age $5 was a lot.
How old were you roughly?
I believe either third or fourth grade.
I was young, so you're probably like 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
Already thinking about business.
Already thinking about business, you know, always kept a wad of money in my sock. My dad used to always give me incentives and say whatever I had at the end of the month saved up, he would double it each month. And then after about 6 months, he was like,
Cut you off.
because it started to compound, and you know, I wasn't spending anything. So it started young, but if your question is how did I get into sales, I had my first daughter at 21, and you know, I decided I chose security at first, like finding a safe job. I went and I was working for the state of California at this mental health hospital in Costa Mesa, and was grinding there. I've always been a grinder. We would have overtime, unlimited overtime, and I'm working 16-hour days to provide. Started at 7 a.m. and finishing up at like 10 o'clock at night.
You was killing it.
Killing
But
it.
you're young, so you got the energy.
Got the energy to do it. So grinded that, even had a second job on days that I didn't. So I had part-time like 3 days. The days that I didn't work overtime, I went to that second job and did that. So I've always grinded because I've always wanted, you know, nice things and wanted to live a certain lifestyle. So it was always in me. And then after working at that state hospital, I would always go to the HR and look at all the positions and see how much the earning potential and stuff was. I would always look for the money, and it wasn't impressive. You know, you had to go to school and get all these degrees, and these guys that I thought that were in higher positions at the hospital, they weren't making that much. They're making like 70,000, 80,000, which is not bad, but it wasn't gonna afford the life that I wanted.
Right.
So sales, you look up what's a 6-figure paying job on Indeed, you're just gonna get so many sales positions that are available. So decided to get into sales. My first company I sold for, we were selling office supplies to businesses. So we'd walk in and pitch them. It was a warehouse-based company. I still remember the pitch to this day.
Were you still in the IE at the time, or did you move?
So I was in Orange County at this time.
Okay, Orange County. Okay.
So let me back it up. The state hospital, that job was in Costa Mesas in Orange County.
Right. You
So
mentioned
there was
that.
an apartment complex next to it, and if you were an employee of the state, you get a discount on the rent.
Oh, so you were.
So
Yeah.
I moved in there.
Right.
I mean, at the time, I was married at the time, my first wife, and I had my baby, so it was time to, get out of mom and dad's crib.
Right. So you moved in there. You were doing the state job, thinking that, and again, as a title, that sounds like a good job. You're working for the state. You got, housing right there. But when you were looking at the earning potential, you were like, this is not matching up with what I want
Yeah.
out of life. So then you
100%.
decided to get into the direct sales.
Yeah.
And you said it was selling office supplies.
That was the first hustle, selling office supplies.
How did you find that job? How did it come to you, or how did you find it?
So funny enough, my first wife was actually administrator, or she worked the front office for a guy who ran one of the businesses that sold the office supplies. So when I really just started getting tired of the state job, they would have like company events and stuff like that I would go to with her. And I would see all these young, ambitious guys in suits and talking big money and talking, big goals. And I'm like, man, this is what I like to be around.
Right.
So then was like, I asked her boss at the time, like, what does it take for me to come in and sell? And then he got me in, brought me in, and the rest was history.
How long were you, so when you came in, were you killing it right away, or was there a transition period?
I was horrible, and I'm a sore loser. So I'm super competitive.
So when you first coming into the game and you going from a state job to a sales job, what were some of the skills that they were trying to get you to learn? Because usually in sales, there's like a system that they're trying to teach you.
Yeah, they teach you the fundamentals, but more so with sales, it's just really developing your mindset. It's a certain type of mindset that you have to possess. And you got to get used to rejection. You're going to get way more no's than yeses. So when you don't come from an environment, or you're not conditioned to endure that in the beginning, it's hard. It's like going to the gym. You're going to be sore those first couple of weeks when you first get started. So it was just more so one of the guys in that sales company used to be like, man, I'm going to cut you open and bleed all that employee mindset out of you. All that work for hourly wages, do the bare minimum. This is not my job. This is somebody else's job, so I'm not gonna do all that mindset. And I'm gonna slowly inject entrepreneurial mindset in you, and get you to understand about business and profit and sales. So I just think that company really shaped my mind. I call it the Navy SEALs of door-to-door sales, because
I think I remember you saying that
Yeah.
in some of the Cali, in one of the shorts, but it was the Navy SEALs of sales training.
Sales training, man, we worked 12-hour days. Some campaigns Monday through Friday. My last campaign I did there was Monday through Saturday. We're at the office early in the morning, come back in the evening and wrap up, and we just grinded every single day.
Now you would think that with office jobs, or with an office sales position, that offices, they need supplies. You're selling, it sounds like more business to business. How do you make more money when basically what they need is what they need? Like, how do you?
Yeah, so I mean, the company that it wasn't there was no residual or anything. We got paid based on what we sold that day. So the pitch, we would get our foot in the door with a promotional box of paper. You know, of all businesses, this office here uses so much copy paper every single day. So we would get our foot in the door with the promotional box. And then where I was really good at was the other products, the toners for the printers, copy machines, you know, more
Everything that's tied to
we
it.
call it rehash and building up the order. So it was a one time, and we would get 28% of what we sold that day. So sometimes we would wait for the customer to like build up the order, and when it's time for them to order for the entire office, and then we had certain quotas we had to reach on a daily basis. So sometimes we just had to close them for a small amount. But I was more of a rehash guy. I would sit there for an hour or so with the customer and walk out with a profitable order.
So when you said you were a sore loser beginning, how did you build up to be one of the better salesmen, one of the best?
I'm a sore loser, but I don't have a quit gene in me. For some reason, I want to quit. I have those same emotions that everyone else has, but I'm stubborn enough just to see it through and stick it through. So sore loser was, you know, I'm used to, you know, getting my way, and I'm going in the field and I'm not performing. And I was all in my head. I wasn't applying the things that was taught to me. I was trying to do things my way, you know, not really having a student mentality. And it was hard for me to come to the office and face everyone in the office, and I didn't perform. And we had like this ceremony at the end of the day where we get in a circle, everyone would clap, and then they had certain bells that you would ring, and it would represent how much money you made. So it was a end of the day kind of validation. So I'm sitting there clapping, and my sales manager used to be like, get in there, get in there. And if I didn't have no sales, my confidence is down. And that was hard to deal with on a day-to-day
And you're
basis.
seeing cats killing it or doing their thing, and you're like, I need to get in this.
Yeah,
I need to get in on this.
yeah.
How long did it take though? Like, how long did you went from, you know, doing your own thing to getting that student mindset? Like,
It didn't take long because it's commission only. So getting kicked in the butt every day, you tend to, you know, either
you
quit
figure it out.
or submit and say,
Right.
okay, whatever you guys are telling me to do, I'm just gonna apply it.
Right.
And these guys were closing, they were successful. So it wasn't me, I was just like, I got this, I got my style. You know, some leaders wanna figure it out their own way. It's not a lack of a student, it is a lack of a student mentality, but I actually like that mentality. When I get guys that come into my company and they're stubborn in that way, I embrace it. I like it because at least they're trying to take the initiative to figure it out their way to a certain degree. And I know that if I can get them stubborn in that way, in the direction that I want them to be, that we're gonna align. But I need that fight back, you know, more so than a person who's just gonna come in and just lay down and listen to whatever and do whatever's being told.
You're saying that initial wanting to take it on themselves.
Yeah, so I don't mind it. I embrace it. I don't take it as a sign of anything negative when they come in, because I know, I always tell them. So one of my top guys, when I first was training him, he came in with that ego, and I told him one or two things is gonna happen. I'm like, you're gonna either teach me something today. I've never seen someone starting a company and be able to sell on their own without any training. And it was an ego hit because I'm like, this guy doesn't even know who I am. You know, like, does he even know who's training he's rejecting? I'm the best in the business. And it's like me telling Michael Jordan, I don't need any basketball tips.
Like Kobe telling
Yeah,
Jordan,
yeah, I got this, right? But it was fine. So I'm like, you're gonna teach me something, or you're gonna come back humbled and, you know, you'll be ready to learn. And the latter happened. He came back humbled. I was already up a couple of sales, you know, so I rubbed that in his face. And yeah, so I embrace guys who are kind of stubborn that way. But your question was, how long did it take for me? Probably like a week. And this one
that was a fast turnaround.
yeah, for me to give in. I mean, I went a full week without making
Like you said, it's commission, so you gotta figure it out quick.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I tried it my way and it didn't work. Okay, I'm ready to listen.
So how long were you doing that? Like, what was like you were in that world, and you started figuring out real quick. What made you transition out of that into? Because there's a period where you went from that type of sales to another type of industry.
Mhm.
When did you transition out of the business to business with the print?
Well, with the copy.
Copy.
So I was in that business for about pretty close to 7 years. It taught me everything that I know now. I just pretty much emulated everything I learned in that business and put it into my own. It's just
Another question: how was that? Because in sales, I was in sales too, and working those hours. How did that affect your relationship with your wife and the kids?
well, I said she's my first wife, and it was because of that. I was all about the money, and I was young. I knew nothing about. I was just trying to do the right thing. Pregnant, had a baby.
You're
let's
thinking
get married.
financially.
Let's get married, but in reality, at 21, 22 years old, I have no clue on what it takes to, be a husband. So I was just thinking about the money and all about the money, and was super invested in this company and building a team and all of that, and just didn't pour in the energy to my relationship.
Because once you started figuring it out, you said, okay, there's money to be made, and you don't commit to 7 years without something working.
Mhm.
So obviously it was working for you.
Yeah.
So then, when you transitioned out of that, like what was the mindset there? Like what had happened?
So one big reason is my ex-wife at the time moved to Vegas and took our daughter to Vegas. So now I'm driving out there every other weekend, and it's an 8-hour round trip if there's no accidents or traffic. Minimal time with my daughter, and I'm used to seeing her every day. She used to seeing me every day. So it was a tough transition to be in that company and work all those hours and then see her. So then I moved to Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a big. That was like man. I commend you for that, because a lot of especially us as men, we so focused on work and making money that we tend to put that before our relationships, and even the relationship you have with your daughter. Now I know it's tougher. The daddy-daughter. Dads are closer to their daughters, just like moms are closer to their sons. There's a saying, it's your son is your son until he takes a wife, but your daughter's your daughter for the rest of your life. So
That's the hope.
that's the saying. No, that's the saying. But for you to make that leap of faith, you had to literally leave your company, because were they based out of Vegas too, or
No.
So you had to just.
Yeah, and it was time. I look at it was God's timing. Business started going bad at that time, and it was just the best time for me to transition. It was where I was supposed to be, and doors had to close and certain chapters had to end for that to take place. And like you said, priority was my daughter in that relationship that I needed to continue to, keep with her. And people always tell me it's an honorable thing, but to me, I don't really look at it that way. It was an easy move.
Man, I'm telling you, bro, like, when you're grinding, you're just so focused on working, and especially if you're not making the kind of money to where that's an option. And not to say that, I like to look at it from both sides. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say that in any situation it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have family here, and then leaving, and relationships you build, and then working, and then starting over career-wise, it's tough, no matter what decision you make. So, especially if you have like grandparents, or so for anybody out there watching, same thing. Like, I'm not knocking anybody, but for me personally, I give you props for that. So you get out to Vegas, you're having to start brand new. What do you do? Like, what's the first step when you're moving to a whole new situation?
So I had a cousin that was out there, and he had quit his job. He was like a...
Wait, but let me back it up a little bit. So now we got the ex. So I don't even want to call her baby mom, I'm just call her ex.
Mhm.
What did the ex say when you were like, no, I'm moving out there. Like, I want to make sure that I maintain a relationship with my
No,
daughter.
we're good. She's happy because she knows the effect that it was causing our daughter, you know, to not see her dad all the time, to have games and I can't be there, or practices, or, you know, school. Like whenever she would have something in school on a Monday, I couldn't make it. You know, I would be back at the office in LA. So she was all for it.
So even though you guys weren't together, she was still
Of course,
rocking
of course.
with you.
Yeah, we worked it out, and we were okay. And we both, one thing that I admire is we both understood that we needed to do what's right for her. So we've always kept that this entire time, and you know it's worked out for us. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. When you can let all the emotions and stuff go and really think about what's most important and focus on within your control, what's within your control. You know, it just takes all the BS out,
Right, all the fluff out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So you had a cousin. You were like, I got to do this. Let me
yeah.
just-
So when I first got out there, he had quit his job with PacSun and became a professional gambler or everyday gambler. He'd be like, man, I just need to make $150 a day. So my first couple of months, I tried to tag along with that until I lost a lot of my savings that I had.
What's funny is, okay, what's crazy is you're telling me this, and people are promoting this stuff online. Like they're trying to sell courses, like, you know, betting on
Man,
how many points this cat's
I
gonna.
invested in them programs, all that, and we were just trying to, you know, just get it through gambling. And Vegas doesn't continue to open up all these new casinos because people are beating the odds, and it's just really like I lost. So I was smart enough to not lose that much, but it was enough for me to say, you know what, let me focus and
Let me get right. Let me get right.
Get
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a plan, and the way that I went out there was I would get my daughter in the summer, and when it's time for her to go, the last time she was just like, we had such a blast, and she cried bad, and I asked her if she wanted me to move to Vegas, and she said yeah, and there was like, what do I say after that?
No. Yeah. You had to.
You know, so.
So from gambling, what now? What? Like you were like, okay, I'm losing too much money. Let me figure out again.
I had nothing, and I knew that I didn't want to do anything down at the Strip because people would tell me that you just get sucked into the lifestyle. You start networking out there, then you're clubbing and all that stuff. And I didn't want to go out there and, you know, not fulfill the purpose of why I'm out there. So Vegas it's not a lot of job opportunities outside of the tourist stuff. Unless it's like in the medical field, you're working for a hospital or something like that. So I'm like, the next best thing, I'm like, let me go